Hey everyone, it's Emily. Welcome to Crafting with Emily. Today I'm doing a craft and chat or a WIP and chat. So I'm going to work on a knitting project today, and I'm going to talk with you a little bit about what I'm working on specifically today. I'm going to introduce myself a little bit, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about what my intentions are for the channel and what some of my plans are for that. You can craft along with me if you'd like, or you can just sit back and relax, and we'll go ahead and get started. What I'm working on today is actually a baby blanket. This is this was supposed to be for one of my nieces. Let me show you the whole thing here. So this is sort of a basket weave pattern that I kind of made up. It was sort of like a couple of different inspirations combined with, a pattern of my own making or a formula of my own making. I intended for this to be ready when she was born. She will be 6 months old. So I think anyone who crafts or who makes crafts to make things for other people is familiar with this sensation. Anyway, I need to get to work. The yarn that I'm using is just, I don't know, if I'm using my front-facing camera, so I don't know if like holding the text up is even helpful. Maybe it won't flip it around. But this is just Karen Jumbo. I picked this because it's machine washable, and I really like the pastel rainbow colors. I really like stripy yarn. I think it's really interesting once you start working with a stripy yarn how sometimes the colors line up. So I have these like big splotches of blue and big splotches of like yellow and white. It's like, how did that even happen? Anyway, so I'm going to be working on this. The basket weave pattern is pretty simple. It's basically just alternating sections of stockinette stitch, right? So knitting is just knitting and purling. But with stockinette stitch, I'm basically just alternating which side of the stockinette stitch I'm working on. So I'm going to work on this. Like I said, you can craft along with me if you'd like, or you can just sit back and relax. I wanted to introduce myself a little bit more. I made a short video last week, sort of introducing myself and the channel. I did not realize, I guess this is proof that I am learning as I go. I did not realize that it was so short that YouTube would categorize it as a short. So I think it sort of got lost. So like I said, I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit more. I am a little bit nervous about like knitting on camera. I've been thinking about it all weekend. Oh, what if you have comments about my knitting style, that's fine. I'm going to knit the way that I normally do. And we'll just keep going. I was like, can you knit and talk at the same time? I think I can. So like I said, I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit more. I'm Emily, Crafting with Emily. I am originally from Kentucky. I grew up in Kentucky. I live in South Carolina now. For work, I am an attorney. I'm not your attorney, and I don't intend to practice law on this channel or give any legal advice. But when I do get dressed and go to work in the morning, I am lawyer Barbie. I really love the Barbie movie. When the Barbie movie came out, I went immediately to see if there was a lawyer Barbie, and I couldn't find one. They did a Reese Witherspoon Barbie for Legally Blonde, but I'm a transactional lawyer. So there are basically two types of law. There's litigation and criminal law, right? Courtroom law, and then there's transactional law, which is like going over paperwork, sort of reviewing documents, sort of thing. I am firmly in the transactional law sector. That's where I belong. I belong reading documents. Anyway, when Barbie comes out with transactional law Barbie, I'll be first in line for transactional law Barbie. That was a bit of was that a digression? I don't think so. So transactional law Barbie, that's me. I don't know if I'm a Barbie, but we're all Barbie, right? That was the point of the movie. I have 2 cats. I don't have any children. I have 2 cats. I have started referring to them as my children when I put my time off on the calendar at work. I don't know if that offends people. So 2 cats. I have Tulip. I've had Tulip for a little over 3.5 years. She is a tortie. She will be 13 this year. She is the sweetest lady. She's so friendly. She's just a little social butterfly. She's the most friendly. She's a little bit like a dog in that there is no amount of petting where she's like, okay, that's enough. She's happy for you to pet her forever. And then I recently adopted Winnie. Winnie is a long-haired black and white cat. He's very handsome. He's been with us for about 8 weeks now. He is only 4. Winnie is almost completely blind. He is super sweet. He is a little bit more traditional cat in that he wants to be petted for a few minutes and then he's sort of like, okay, lady, listen, that's enough. Thank you. I'm good here, okay? I'm good. But he's still the sweetest and he's so soft. He's so soft. Winnie often gets misgendered because his name is Winnie, but he doesn't mind. Sometimes I call him Winston to make it clear, but he doesn't care, and I really don't care either. I also have a gecko. Poor Calvin. He gets left out a lot. I've had Calvin. I've had a lot longer than anybody else, actually. I've had Calvin since 2018. Is that right? Oh my goodness. I've had Calvin since 2018. So 7 years. He's super cool. He doesn't want any attention at all. He wants to be left alone, which is fine. So yeah, that's my current household. 2 cats and a gecko, and a lot of houseplants. I really love crafting. Crafting really brings me a lot of joy. My 2 big crafts right now are knitting and diamond painting. Obviously knitting right now. My mom taught me how to knit when I was a kid. My mom is an incredible knitter. My mom does these incredible, like, she can do these, I don't even know what they're called, like all these different like color works, and intarsia. Is it intarsia? Really incredible stuff. I'm more of like a utilitarian sort of knitter. But it was something that she taught me when I was a kid, and I did, you make half of a scarf and you're like, okay. But I picked it back. I don't remember if it was like late high school, but I definitely remember knitting in college. And I remember that once I picked it back up, I really enjoyed it, and it just sort of clicked. So I've really gotten a lot of joy out of knitting. I don't, like I said, I'm a pretty utilitarian knitter, and I haven't really sprung for expensive yarns. I do have a pretty good stash of yarn. I wouldn't say it's huge, but it's something that I want to start working through because I want to buy more. I think I've been thinking about this a lot, especially in reference to my diamond painting stash as well, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I think crafters, just like, I think anybody who makes things, like crafters, any sort of hobbyist, handyman, if you make things, I think you also, by necessity, end up being a collector because you're going to need those things. And as you go through life, go through stores, essentially, and you find these things that you could maybe use in the future, you end up collecting them. And so I think the more I've been thinking about it, because I've been thinking a lot about stashes lately, I think I could categorize, and like this could use some work. I don't know if this is my final theory on stashes, but this is my preliminary theory on stashes, is that I think you could categorize a stash into things that should be circulating through the stash and things that can stay in the stash until you find a use for them. So for me, I think my yarn should be circulating through the stash because that's something that I want to continue to buy. Oh, sorry, I probably just hit my microphone. Yarn is something I want to be able to continue to buy. I love going into stores, touching the yarn, thinking of what I want to make with the yarn. It's the potential of what you could make. And I'm sure whatever craft that you do, other people feel the same about whatever it is that you make or create. And so for me, I think that yarn is something that I should be circulating through my stash. I don't want to have, for me personally, that this is certainly not like for everyone, but for me personally, I would like to start circulating some of my yarn out so that I can go get more yarn. Diamond painting is a much newer hobby for me. I picked up, like many hobbies, I think for a lot of people, I picked up diamond painting during the pandemic. I don't remember if it was 2020 or 2021. So it's either been 3 or 4 or 5 years. But I picked up 2 Diamond Dots kits from Michaels. They were on clearance, and I love clearance. Everybody loves clearance, but I think it was one of those waves where they were like, okay, we're all going to be stuck inside again for a while. So I was like, well, I might as well try whatever this is. And I enjoyed those Diamond Dots kits, and so I had been doing it kind of casually. And then last year, I was getting more and more invested. I wasn't doing it as casually. And I picked up a few kits from Amazon. They were low quality kits. And of course, they didn't turn out as well as the other ones that I had done, Diamond Dots or Make Market from Michaels. And I hadn't really done any research into diamond painting because if you've diamond painted before, everything that you need is in the kit, and they advertise them like that. It tells you on the package everything you need is in the kit. So for whatever reason, I just assumed that was correct. And so I had never really done any research or looked into what other people were doing with diamond painting because I just thought, like, well, this is the thing that I get on clearance at Michaels. I'm not really worried about what else is going on. But I was so frustrated with the low quality kits that I had gotten from Amazon. I was trying to figure out, okay, why do some of these come out okay and some of them come out terrible? And what is the deal here? And so I started looking into this. And that's when I realized that I've been playing on hard mode for 4 or 5 years. I think it's probably been 3 or 4 years, more like. But I've been playing on hard mode all this time because I've not been using any of the cool storage containers or the pens or the waxes or any of the like higher quality canvases. So in the last 4 months, I guess, my diamond painting knowledge and my diamond painting stash, of course, has increased dramatically. And I've also become really invested in the YouTube community for diamond painting and for other crafts, because I just didn't realize that it was there until, like I said, I was researching more about diamond painting, and I ended up in the diamond painting YouTube community, and it was so lovely, and everybody's so kind and happy, and it was just such a lovely experience. And so that's one of the motivations from me making this channel, and I'll come back to that in a moment, because I do want to just mention again my theory of stash, I guess. For me, again, you okay, Tulip? She's okay. So my only point about my stash theory in relation to diamond paintings is just that the diamond paintings probably inspired my stash theory, because my diamond painting stash has of course grown as I've learned about these different companies and these smaller shops, and de-stash groups and all of these different things. So I realized that because the diamond paintings, as I'm storing them now, maybe I just needed a better storage solution, but because they come in these boxes that are a lot larger than, for instance, a skein of yarn, right? It's much more obvious how many that I have. So it just sort of inspired me to kind of consider, okay, well, you do have a lot of crafting stuff, but like some of these things maybe should be circulating through. Like I do want to keep buying yarn. I want to keep buying diamond painting. So some of these things should be, circulating, whereas some of these things you're saving for when you need them, right? Like I think I have in a drawer somewhere like a bag of plastic acorns. I'm gonna need them, right? I don't need to find something to do with that. The thing that needs the plastic acorns is going to appear to me one day. That is something you hold on to. My yarn, I need to start finding projects that go with the yarn that I already have so I can buy more yarn. Okay, so let's talk really quickly about why I made my channel and what my intentions are. Like I said, I've really enjoyed the various crafting channels that I've found, the diamond painting channels. Such a warm and welcoming and cozy vibe. And that's really what I want to create with my channel. I just loved that there was this space for that on YouTube. I think that the world is terrifying most of the time. I think specifically right now the world is terrifying. And this is kind of a silly thing. It's you get to sit here, and for maybe this will be 20 or 30 minutes, you can kind of sit here and just watch me knit. And so I thought that creating a safe, cozy space would be something that I would like to do. I also just really enjoy the idea of sharing my crafts with the world, even if no one ends up watching these videos, I feel like just sharing something that I'm creating has value, even if I'm just putting it out in the world and no one sees it. I think there's value there. From maybe a vulnerable point of view, I was telling someone, the one other smaller reason that I'm doing this is that I was telling someone, like, I found this like whole community, everyone's so nice. There's this whole like side of YouTube I didn't even know existed. All these people, like, it's so cozy and nice, and like just this whole environment that I didn't know existed. You know, people do these, like, they're called WIP chats, and like people just work on their craft and they tell you about their day. And the person I was explaining this to said, "Oh, are you going to do that?" And so there was like a little voice inside of me that was like, "That would be fun." But immediately there was also something inside of me that said, like, "Oh no, I couldn't do that." Like, oh, why did you say that? Now you have to try. Now I have to try it. So one of the reasons that I'm doing this is because I'm afraid to do it. Which I did that. I don't know if that's a good reason, but it's a reason. That's one of the reasons that I'm doing this, is because I'm a little bit afraid to do it. And I thought that combined with my other motivations made it worth giving it a shot. So I hope that I'm able to create a warm and safe space for people to sort of rest or even learn. I don't think that I know enough about either knitting or diamond painting to be doing a lot of instructional things. But I'll provide, I guess, tips if I do know them. Mostly I just want to make another safe space. I don't think there's any harm at this point with the state of the world with creating another place where people feel like they can relax for a few minutes. And I think I'm excited to create that space. As far as sort of my intention, my interests, like I said, like from a knitting perspective, pretty utilitarian. I've been thinking I would like to, I've sort of knitted myself into a corner with the baby blankets. I have knitted, I've made each of my nieces and nephews as they were born. I've made each new baby in the family a handmade blanket. But I have a really big family. So for like the last 6 years, I feel like there's just been, I'm like, and no one expects it. I don't want to make it sound like people are like, "Where's my baby blanket?" I don't even know if anyone realizes that I've made every baby one. It's just something that I like to do. It's just kind of funny that like I started doing it and then I was like, "Oh, I didn't know all of you were gonna have a baby." Anyway, so I think I have another baby blanket that I need to be thinking about, but yeah, I think utilitarian, like I was saying, knitting, pretty utilitarian, maybe another baby blanket. But I have been thinking about looking into, I know there are some programs where you can knit objects for different charities. So I'd like to look into that. The last time I looked into it was kind of a while ago. So I don't know if those exist anymore, but I'll definitely look into that. That's something that I'm really interested in doing because I don't have, there are lots of things that I would like to make. I don't know. it's hard to find, like, there are only so many things that you can make that you're like, oh, I'd like to wear that. I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong. And then for diamond painting, I do have a lot of well, not a lot, but I think I have a pretty good selection of various companies. I have some Diamond Art Club and some Dreamer Designs. But I've also a lot of the Diamond Art Club has come from D-Stash. And I'm really interested in like archived kits that are discontinued by the original manufacturer. I think those are really interesting. So I've sort of been hunting those down. I am really interested in small shops. So I have recently this week I got an order from Distracted by Diamonds. I recorded an unboxing for that. And I got all the way through it. I was so exhausted. I was like, I don't need to do this. And I was like, oh, just try it. Like, just give it a shot. And I recorded the whole thing and none of it had audio. I don't remember what I did wrong. Like, this is a cursed choice. And I didn't realize until I went back to be like, can I salvage this? And like, there's so much like wasted. I couldn't even edit the video in a way that made sense to then do a voiceover because there's just so much standing around being like, this is my hand pointing at the box. And you're like, oh my God. Anyway, so I have some stuff directly from Distracted by, or I have some stuff. I have 2 canvases from Distracted by Diamonds. I just ordered this weekend from Bella Art Diamonds, which is another small shop. And then something else I got this weekend that I'm really excited about, Craftably, is a company that no longer exists. And I've been sort of looking for one of their kits because they're still floating around. And I finally found one that I really liked the artwork, and it was a very reasonable price. So I paid for that, I think, last night. It's all a blur. I was so excited that it's all a blur. So I have a Craftably kit coming. So I think I'll have a pretty good mix for you if you're interested in diamond. If you're here for the diamond painting, I think I'll have a pretty good mix for you of different things. Archives kits, new kits, small shops, bigger shops. Yeah, so I think that kind of summarizes everything. Let me finish this row. I was like, oh, I'll just finish the row. I just keep getting distracted. I can't knit and talk, as it turns out. I meant to mention this earlier. So my goal is to do at least weekly videos. I'm so anxious I have several chronic illnesses. I was diagnosed in 2021. I had thyroid problems for a long time. I was diagnosed in 2021 with Sjogren's syndrome, which is like a little cousin of lupus or rheumatoid arthritis. And then I was also diagnosed that year with celiac disease. So I'm very hesitant to commit to any sort of recording schedule. And I'm also hesitant to commit to that because I am really dedicated to this being something that I enjoy, that this channel be another crafting hobby for me. So I want to enjoy this. Sorry, I hit the microphone again. I want to enjoy this hopefully as much as you enjoy it. I want to enjoy making this as much as I enjoy making my other crafts. And I think committing to that schedule would put too much pressure on the situation. I also have a lot of other commitments at work and things like that. So we'll see what I can do. But my very loose goal is like weekly uploads. So we'll keep that in mind. I know a lot of people are also struggling with chronic illness. If you want to see some content about how to handle, I've been dealing with this for about 4 years now since my diagnosis, we're right at 4 years in a few months. So if you want to see some content about that, you can let me know. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I've got 6 stitches left on this row, so I think I'm all done talking. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I'm going to get this uploaded as soon as I can. Again, really appreciate you guys hanging out. If you have any questions, comments, constructive feedback, I would really love to hear it. Thank you again for spending some time with me today. I'm going to do a few more rows on my blanket without talking. Maybe it'll go a little bit faster, maybe not. And then maybe do some diamond painting. And I'll see you guys again, hopefully next week. Thanks again for sticking around. Bye, guys.